Hi guys, what's up? Tori here. So, long time no video again. I know I'm not doing my pregnancy updates anywhere near as regularly as I was with Braylee, but life is just super busy having a toddler plus working full time and just other life things that we got going on all the time and appointments and all of that. Life is busy. So, it's just hard to make time for these videos these days. It wasn't as easy as with Braylee before, you know, I had another child I was taking care of and all that. So I apologize, but it just is what it is. So, but for this update, I am actually 21 weeks and 1 day today. So I am just over halfway through. So it has been quite a while since my last update. I'm well into second trimester now. And the first couple weeks of second trimester were still kind of a little rough, kind of iffy, I should say, with how I was feeling, because my first trimester was super rough. Like, I felt so sick all the time. Like, I was either nauseous or I had horrible indigestion. Like, it just was terrible. And then, starting into second trimester, the nausea pretty much went away, but I was still having trouble with indigestion a little bit. And then now, like, I officially, like, other than having a little bit of indigestion every once in a while, I pretty much, like, have been feeling really good. Like, you know, it's almost one of those, you know, knock on wood things, but I've been feeling so much better. I've had a little more energy. I do get pretty tired really easily, but in general I've been feeling better. I haven't been feeling quite as exhausted. Like I said, nausea and indigestion has been pretty much gone, other than having a little bit of indigestion here and there once in a while. But it has been so much better, which I am so thankful for, because it was really rough there for a little bit. I was really beginning to wonder if I would ever feel good again. But yeah, I've been doing much better. So now that I'm into second trimester, symptoms and stuff that I've been feeling, definitely a little bit more achiness, especially for whatever reason, my left hip, I will get, like, that will get really sore sometimes, and every once in a while my lower back a little bit. So I've been starting to get a little bit of the aches and pains thing kind of going. Definitely my belly is definitely growing and stretching. Like, there's times where it feels like it just, you know, you can just feel the, like, tightness of it stretching and growing, which I think I tend to feel a little bit quicker because of the fact that I did have a skin removal surgery a few years ago. I should say, like, almost like 5 years ago now. So, like, my skin's just kind of naturally a little tighter. So it's like, as I grow, like, I just kind of feel it every time the baby kind of grows. Like, it feels really tight for a little while, and then it eventually just kind of goes away. My body gets used to it, kind of thing. It did the same thing with Braylee. So yeah, and definitely been feeling baby move a lot. I started feeling the baby move more probably when I hit right around, I remember, like, around like 13-ish weeks, like, feeling like the first movement. And then it was kind of between like 14 and 15 weeks that I kind of started feeling, it'd be every once in a while just like this teeny little, like, flutter movement and stuff. Like, I was starting to feel like every once in a while. I wouldn't feel them often, but it was every once in a while. But now, definitely, especially in the last, like, few weeks, feel baby move all the time. Little kicks and nudges and flutters, and they're definitely getting stronger. I definitely tend to feel them more later on in the day. Like, I would say afternoon and evening more than I do in the morning. Every once in a while I'll feel them in the morning too, but definitely tends to be more in the afternoon and evening that I will feel it, probably because that tends to be my less busy of a time where I actually kind of sit a little more, so I like can, like, think about it more to feel the movements. But yeah, so there is that. Say, since I just did a big breath, I will say that I do have it sometimes where I will get a little bit breathy and winded. I've started noticing that a little bit once in a while too. But I would say those are probably the main symptoms that I've been feeling as of recently. I definitely, nighttime can be interesting because I definitely get, like, the crazy vivid dreams thing. I remember getting that with Braylee a lot too, and this one I've been having it too, the crazy vivid dreams that just wake me up at night, or I'll just, like, have a night of being uncomfortable, or I even had one random night of insomnia too, which I never had insomnia with Braylee. But with this one, I had it one night where I literally, like, I slept good for a couple hours, and it was at like 1 in the morning. I woke up, and I literally was up from like 1 in the morning to like 3 in the morning, just wide awake. Like, I could not go back to sleep for the life of me. I just kept laying there being like, I'm awake, and I don't know why. Like, it was the craziest thing. So I definitely, nighttime can be interesting sometimes too. But yeah, I would say those are the main symptoms that I can think of. I can't think of anything else at this time. But given that I'm 21 weeks, I have had baby's anatomy scan, which if you saw, I put the pictures in before officially like starting off the video here, just for you guys to be able to see the little ultrasound pictures. But we did find out baby's gender, and baby is a boy this time around. So we are having a little boy this time. We are so excited. Matt is definitely more excited than even I am. I think, actually, I do know he is, because we walked out of the ultrasound and he literally goes, yes, and throws his arms up, and he was like, I was kind of secretly hoping for a boy. I just didn't want to say anything. And I was like, it's totally fine. I'm excited too. I keep having everyone ask me, like, are you okay with having a boy? And I don't know why people keep asking me that. Like, I've never indicated that I haven't wanted a boy. Like, I'm totally okay with having a boy. I am actually very excited because Braylee right now is at a stage in life, like, I mean, she's a toddler, like, you know, it's some of it is kind of normal toddlerness, but Braylee is definitely a very spitfire, energy, sassy, opinionated, very much independent, like wants to be independent, I should even say, little girl. And like, she has so much attitude and spunk, and she is just fierce and fiery. And like, I mean, they're all good, like they're good qualities to have, but like getting her to rein that in and use those qualities for good is what is the challenge. And so it's like, part of me is always hoping with having a boy we get a little less of that. So like, it's almost like, I think one little spitfire girl is all that we can handle. So probably having a boy is an okay thing. But we are definitely very excited to be having a little boy. I mean, obviously it's going to be different than a girl, but it still will be great. It'll be another really great learning curve and learning experience and all that. It'll be fun to raise a little boy, and it kind of rounds out our family nicely, because we are most likely done after this one. And especially now that we found out that it's a boy, we are feeling really pretty content with probably being done after this one, just because life is so busy with kids, and we kind of are feeling like 2 kids will probably be enough for us. And also, we don't have a very big house. Like, if we were to decide to have a 3rd kid, we probably would have to look into getting a different house, because fitting a 3rd child in this house probably would be kind of tight. So at this point, you know, it's kind of what we're leaning towards, and we kind of feel like it just rounds out our little family nicely and perfectly, and we're really happy and excited and okay with it. But in other news at the ultrasound, what was more important, like, we really could have cared less if baby would have ended up being a boy or girl, even though we are very excited that it is a boy. The most important thing is we were very nervous and anxious about, you know, because if you remember with Braylee, my placenta was in 2 pieces. I had what was called a sexcentriate lobe to my placenta with Braylee. So it basically was in 2 pieces that was connected by vessels. And it made Braylee run small my entire pregnancy. And we ended up having to be induced at 37 weeks because her growth had pretty much just stopped. And she was born at 4 pounds, 13 ounces at 37 weeks along. So she ran small my whole pregnancy. I had to have tons of ultrasounds and growth checks on her, and just checking also on the placenta and making sure it was still functioning and all that. And I had to have NSTs and everything, like, so her pregnancy was definitely kind of a runaround and was a lot. And we were definitely nervous this time around that it could potentially be a same thing, you know, that placenta would be messed up, baby would be running small, you know. And it's something that my doctor is like going to still watch throughout my whole pregnancy, just because of the history of it happening. But at this ultrasound, the placenta was completely normal and in good position. There was one nice big whole piece of placenta. And baby's measurements were all perfect, right on track for me being, the ultrasound we had it last week, so I was 20 weeks along when I had the ultrasound. And baby was measuring perfectly for being at 20 weeks, which is what we were so hopeful for and so happy for. Like, that is what made me so much more happy even than finding out that he was a boy. I was just happy to see that he was so healthy and perfect, and everything looked really good. Literally everything was perfect and healthy on him. Nothing came up at all. Just a perfectly normal ultrasound, and I was so happy about that because I never had that my entire pregnancy with Braylee. So it was such a relief and joyful, exciting thing. And we are so thankful to God. Like, we give all the glory to God. We are so thankful for that, for this pregnancy. And because of that, I can continue on with just normal prenatal checkups at this point. Obviously, they will always like continue to measure my, you know, do the uterine measurements, you know, with the little tape measure on the stomach and stuff. Like, they'll, you know, they will continue to always do those measurements just to, you know, keep track. And they'll obviously always, you know, do a little Doppler heart check on him and all that. But at this point, it's just going to be continuing with my regular prenatal appointments. There isn't going to be a ton of crazy extra ultrasounds. I would say probably somewhere towards the end, he might do another one just to, you know, find out exactly how big he is towards the end. But otherwise, like, you know, I won't be getting all kinds of extra ultrasounds, which honestly, that was a little bit of a perk with Braylee. It was kind of nice to see her on ultrasound more often, but it's also okay this time because the less appointments, the better, because my boss is not exactly very accommodating when it comes to scheduling these appointments, because we're just so short-staffed and stuff right now. So it's hard to schedule these appointments. So I'm also glad that, you know, I just will be doing basic prenatal appointments at this point, and it makes me happy that, you know, so far everything's going good with him, everything's going good with me. I am still taking blood thinners because of my blood clot history, and I'm taking baby aspirin because of my high blood pressure history, all from when I used to be obese. And because I am on the blood thinners, I'm still gonna get induced with him no matter what. The goal is that I probably would get induced at like 39 weeks with him, and the reason for being induced is because then that way they make the induction date, and then they'll have me stop my blood thinners 24 hours before I go in to be induced. So that way I'm not a bleeding risk when I deliver him. So, and it was the same way with Braylee when they were going to have me go in to be induced with her. They had me stop my blood thinner pretty much immediately, and they were like, just don't take it again. And then I went back on it after she was born, and I'll do the same thing with this, and I'll go back on it after he is born just to keep the blood clot risk minimal, so that way, because I have a history of it, just so that way it doesn't happen. It's just a preventative thing. So other than that, everything's been looking really good with me too. My weight gain has been on track. My blood pressure's been really good. So far everything has been great, and that is just what I'm the most thankful for. So yes, as far as a name goes, when we do come up with a name, we're not going to be sharing it just like we did just the same with Braylee. I didn't share her name until she was born. It'll be the same thing with this one. We have not even decided on a name yet. We're having a hard time coming up with what we want to name this baby. So it'll probably be a bit anyway, but I'll probably let you guys know when we do come up with a name. I just won't tell you what the name is, but yeah, so that's kind of where things are at for that. And then we will start putting together a nursery for him. Braylee is right across the hall from us, and then his nursery is going to be at the very end of the hallway, which is literally right around the corner from our room too. So that's going to be his room. It's currently just an extra storage room, and we're going to start working on cleaning it out and working on it now that we know its gender, and we can kind of, you know, put things together better. I plan on having my sister over to help me because I have to do a lot of reorganizing of things and stuff too, and she said she would be willing to help me with that because she is an organizer extraordinaire. So yeah, that will be all stuff that we will do too. But yeah, so that is everything that I can think of. I'm just gonna go ahead now and do the bump shot for you guys, since it has been a while since I last did a bump shot, and believe you me, there's a bump now for sure. So I'll just go ahead and turn this way, probably put you guys back as much as I can. So I might put you a little closer, hold on. Just because I want you guys to be able to see good. I'll just angle it downward here. Okay, so it's hard to tell with a shirt on, but here's with a shirt on. So facing forward, facing to the side, and facing to the side. Black, I swear, is always like harder to really see a bump good when you're wearing black. So that is shirt on, and then I'll go ahead and do shirt up. So here is facing forward, facing to the side, and facing this side. So yeah, that is my 21-week bump, and I think it's definitely more of a bump than it was with Braley. I have people still tell me I look really tiny, but I am really long-waisted. So I think it's just in general how my belly starts to grow too. So yeah, that is everything, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video whenever that happens to be. Bye.